Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another video and podcast from FFScout.co.uk. It is, of course, Saturday morning, and we are now less than an hour before the Gameweek16 deadline, which means we have less than an hour to finalise our teams for another round of exciting Premier League football. Are you ready? I don't know if I am, so let's work out if we can get ourselves across the line together in the next few minutes. Now, before we get started, a quick apology, to be honest, about last week, where well, not last week, it was a midweek, where I actually ended up missing the deadline stream because of, well, some unfortunate circumstances, shall we say. A family emergency came up. Very, very short notice, and yeah, unfortunately wasn't able to do the deadline stream, and yeah, there was no one to step in for me, so apologies for anyone who was waiting around for that deadline stream only for it not to happen. Do apologise. Hopefully it won't happen again. You know, as well, you guys know what it's like. Emergency flags in FPL come up all the time, and unfortunately there was an emergency flag in real life for myself and my family, but all is well now, and here we are heading into game week 16, looking ahead to well, we're heading straight back into the Christmas run of things now. It's 3 deadlines in the last 7 days. It's nice to come to the end of that little stretch and sort of feel relatively still sane because we are going to have lots and lots and lots of deadlines all in quick succession in a few weeks' time as well. So, yeah, welcome to everybody who's in the chat so far. So we've got David Ross here, we've got Genjar FIFA and Aaron B7. Welcome to you. If you're joining us from a different part of the planet to the UK, then let us know. I always like to know what time zone you're tuning in from because, of course, the deadlines are savage for you guys sometimes, depending on what part of the world you live in. So do let us know where you're watching us from, and let us know what your issues with your team are as well. As ever, with these videos, I'll be going through a little bit of team news. We'll have a look at my team as well. But if you've got any questions about what you are worried about in your team, then do pop those questions in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer all of them. If you're watching on YouTube, if you want a guaranteed answer, then Super Chat is the way to go. You get a guaranteed answer if you use a Super Chat. If not, I will do my best to get to all the questions, but I just unfortunately won't be able to promise anything because we do quite often have quite a few. Now, also a big shout out to those of you joining us from Twitter as well. We've recently started having more of our deadline streams on there as well. So if you're watching us on Twitter, hello. Nice to see you. And if you're watching us on Twitter and you don't normally watch us on YouTube, then can I perhaps issue a little bit of a plea to make sure when you finish watching this to like this video on YouTube and head over to YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification, because then it just means we know that we're reaching absolutely everybody in the fantasy world to be helping as many people as we can when the deadlines tick around. So make sure you do that. Genjar Fever says tuning in from Norway. We've got Simon from Sweden, so I've got a Scandinavian feel this morning, a Viking feel almost. Good to see some questions already in the chat. Keep those coming through, and I will jump back into those once we've gone through a little bit of team news. Let's make sure that everybody knows what's the deal before we jump into everybody's team. So, or actually, no, before that, I've actually still got to do my job, which is, of course, to remind you that if you haven't already signed up for Fantasy Football Scout membership, then now is a great time to do that. We've had 3 deadlines in the past 7 days, and I know that a lot of people who signed up either for the 7-day free trial or who started a completely new account from scratch this week have got incredible value out of it because they've been able to assess match data for 3 back-to-back game weeks in effect, or, well, after today's deadline, they will have been able to do that. And yeah, great taster of what it could be like over Christmas. Now, Christmas, important time to spend that time with your family, but it's also an important time to ignore your family and spend your whole time over Christmas burying your head in the members area. So if that sounds like a much more palatable Christmas than perhaps another cheese board with some rather, you know, dare we say it, ill-advised opinions from your family members, the Fantasy Football Scout membership is going to save your Christmas. You heard it here first. So don't forget to sign up to that. Right, let's jump into some team news then, because there's quite a lot of it this game week. And, well, a lot of it does concern, a lot of you have a certain player who we do have an update on. A few more people joining us. We've got people in from South Africa. We've got the Netherlands. We've got 2 South Africans, actually. in the chat. So nice to see you. Well done on winning the World Cup earlier this year. I got one particular friend from South Africa who's very pleased about that, especially after beating England in the semi-final. So I hope it's still like a party for you guys down at the foot of your continent. Right, let's have a look at this team news then. So we'll start. I basically just sort of cherry-picked the best ones, and I will do this kind of alphabetically. So Arsenal first. He's been asked about Martinelli, Arteta, and the quote was, "I think everyone is going to be okay." Arteta had said in the week that Tomiyasu will be out for a while. So Tomiyasu's out for a while. We think that Martinelli is okay. Off the top of my head, I don't know if he still has a flag, but if you've got Martinelli, this is the latest update on him. Let's move to Aston Villa. Obviously, we had the sort of crazy flag drama with Watkins in the week. It does look as if he's not been talked about because obviously he came through that game, got 11 points. They have, of course, played lots of games, and they've been playing lots of games for some time. They've been playing 3 games a week for quite a while, so then 3 Premier League games in that run. It's just continued, just too much football for them, really. Mings and Buendia are still out. We haven't seen Bertrand Traore since the international break. They're the sort of the long-term ones, and the view from Emery is he's going to assess his squad ahead of the clash with Arsenal. Which isn't very helpful, especially if you've got Diaby and Cash. Guilty. So yeah, that's what we got there. Apologies if there are a couple of breaks in. If you're just listening to this rather than watching this, you won't notice that I'm still drinking my morning cup of tea. So there will be momentary pauses in the sound of my voice, which is probably good for some people, but yeah. My day hasn't started until I've had my tea, and I was a little bit behind this morning. So, yeah, you'll be pleased to know it's not jam-flavoured tea anymore. I'm back to biscuit-flavoured tea, which is probably why my team has gone down the pan, because pretty much ever since I stopped drinking the jam tea is when I stopped getting jammy in my IPL team. But what can I say? I just prefer the taste of the biscuit tea. If you're drinking tea this morning, let me know what your favourite flavour is. Because we've got people coming in from all over the world. Danish is joining us from India, which of course is famous for its tea. So Danish, if you've got a favourite tea, let me know. And Bonga Cooler says, proud the Springboks won the trophy, and even the Proteas for going far in the ICC Cricket World Cup. Yeah, it has been a good year for South Africans in sports that aren't football. So yeah, it's nice to have a different sport where your team is successful. I can say that knowing that England aren't really all that successful outside of football. So right, let's move on to Brighton. We've got Lewis Dunk and Dahoud back from suspension. I know a number of people are interested in Lewis Dunk this week, and he may or may not be in the scout picks as well. We've got Lallana available, Webster's out, and we know that Fatty is out for 3 months. Now, if anyone's still got a Stupinan, which is probably just me, then we've heard rumblings that he might be back at some point. That he might be back sooner than originally planned, but we just don't have anything firm on him, so I'm probably going to have to sell him in the next few minutes. Brentford, this is the one we all wanted to know about, but I think a lot of you kind of know this already, but I always like to recap this just in case people haven't seen it. And Burmo is, of course, out for what we know at the moment as being a number of weeks. So the official quote from Thomas Frank on Mbeumo is, it is bad. I don't know how bad. We don't have the exact number of weeks. He will definitely be out for Saturday and for weeks. So that's why he's red flagged. He's an easy sell this week. I haven't done it yet. I will be doing that live on stream. I always like doing that in front of you guys. It's maximum entertainment value. The last time I made a transfer in front of you guys, I captained Eze, and we all know how that went. So hey, let's do it again, right? Let's have me make some crackers transfer decisions right in front of you guys and have it go wrong, so that you'll send me lovely messages on Twitter later in the day and make sure that my friends are checking on me. So yeah, we'll see what my transfer plan is there. Although it's fairly obvious, I reckon. Chelsea, oh yeah, could be a Chelsea player. So we got Gallagher back. He was serving a one-match ban last weekend. That is good news for Chelsea, in my opinion. I think he's one of their best players by quite some way. The number of people out is still quite large. It's Ugo Chukwu, Chilwell, Fofana, Chalobah, Chukwuemeka, and Gusto. We've got Lavia and Nkunku back in training, but we think they're probably going to miss this one. But it is worth keeping an eye on Nkunku. I think he's going to be a bit of a template buster in the next few weeks, so he could be back soon. I don't think he's going to damage Palmer anywhere near as much as some people are fearing. But, still think that he's... if anything, I actually think Palmer's going to get better in that time. So, yeah, looking forward to him being around. Who else have we got updates for? Crystal Palace. Let's talk about Crystal Palace now. We have Mitchell now on the injury list for the Eagles, which, is annoying for those of us who have double Crystal Palace defence. That's me, by the way. Another sip of the tea to toast Crystal Palace's just complete calamitous collapse of clean sheet potential. And could get worse because, Tyreek Mitchell has got a hip problem now. We've got a late call being made on Elise, and we also know that Eze is nowhere near a return. So all of those things largely make Crystal Palace quite vulnerable this week, in my opinion. I can understand why people might captain Salah against them. If you're nervous because Palace earlier in the season were showing some really nice defensive form, that has kind of evaporated in the last few weeks, ever since I doubled up. It was doing okay when I had Anderson, and then when I doubled up and got Johnston on top of Anderson, all of a sudden their defensive numbers have skyrocketed downwards, basically. And it's got even worse since they lost Eze again, because it might sound silly to say it, but sometimes losing some of your best attackers is bad for your defense, because it just gives your team less of an outlet, less of a route to kind of force the issue to the other team, and then give your own defense a sort of bit of rest and help them keep their structure. You lose that in front of you, then all of a sudden the defense has to become more reactive because of what's in front of them. So I do think that Liverpool will get some goals this weekend against Palace. And speaking of them, if you have Kelleher, then I don't want to say look away now, because we always like it when you watch the video. And if you are watching, do hit the like button too and subscribe. And of course, hit the bell notification, all the usual good stuff. Make sure you've done that. If you are watching and you've got Kelleher, then I'm sorry, because it does appear that Alisson is going to be back much sooner than expected. So the official line is he's back in full training. He will need to be assessed ahead of Saturday's game against Palace. But that is, we kind of were being fed information that he could be out for 6-7 game weeks, but could end up only missing like 2 or 3, and then if you've got Kelleher and Turner, you're probably in a bit of a tight spot. So, I'll mention goalkeepers in a bit if you need a new one, because I know that some people have Areola and Turner, for example. So, that looks like Kelleher may have not lasted very long as a viable asset. Man City, we've got Grealish and Rodri back, so that's good for their credentials. They always lose. They just always lose when they don't have Rodri, and he's back again. So they should be in fine fettle when they line up against Luton this weekend. We've actually got De Bruyne running again, and was named in the squad for the FIFA Club World Cup, which of course happens later this month and triggers a blank game week. So that's good news. There's no update on Doku, though. He missed the Villa game with an unspecified injury, but we don't really know anything about that, unfortunately. Speaking of things we don't really know much about, if you've got Son Heung-min right now, you're probably a little bit nervous. You will have perhaps seen him, come off midweek. Postecoglou, we only heard from him 12 hours after the match. That's when the presser for this weekend took place. And his quote was, he's a bit sore after the game. We'll see how he recovers today, which is about as helpful as a chocolate teapot, because that's pretty much just the kind of... we just get that. That's just every football player in Premier League football. The game is so intense that, of course, everyone's going to be sore when they come on. I'm sore when I come off playing on a Tuesday night. So, but obviously I don't have to play Premier League football every week. But, the intensity is high. Players are never 100% fit. They're always being sort of like ushered through. So I think he's probably fine. If I had Son, I would hold him. And if I didn't have Son, which is the case, I don't have Son, I just wouldn't buy him. He's a don't sell, don't buy right now, I would say, because we just don't know enough. And there's reasons why we could expect perhaps him to still do quite well. A few more of you have joined. Nice to see continued representation for the whole planet. We have got FPL Aussie Mike, who says the cricket was good. Well, I'm not surprised. We have got Kenny, who comes to us from Northern Ireland. Anybody else? Any other newbies in the chat? Not yet. But yeah, nice to see, as ever, people tuning in from absolutely everywhere. And we did have a question on McAllister from Aussie Mike. Do we know how long he's out? I don't think we do. The line was... Klopp does not expect McAllister to be fit for 16 was the latest from Klopp there. And I should just say, actually, in this part of the stream, if you ever are sat there wondering if someone you are interested in is going to start a match, let me know. I'm happy to be a bit of an on-demand service for you guys because we, of course, have our predicted lineups at Fantasy Football Scout. They are super useful and usually very accurate as well. And so I'm happy to take you guys to that page and have a look through some of the predicted lineups. If you have some questions about whether or not you feel Fantasy Football Scout think certain player will start. So just let us know in the chat if that's something you guys would like. Let's finish off with West Ham then. I've been saying it all week. I'm going to say it again. I think that Mr. Blobby is the physio at West Ham. And I do apologise if the West Ham physio are watching this. Tis but a joke. Based around the fact that I'm finding West Ham's injury updates of late just really odd. Like, oh, Jared Bowen's got fluid on his knee. Oh, okay, that sounds like really bad. He's probably going to be out for a number of weeks. Oh, no, he might start tomorrow. Oh, okay, so he's got fluid on the knee, but he might start tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, okay. And then, obviously, he didn't, but then he was back pretty much straight away and scored against Spurs, etc., etc. Now, we've got a goalkeeper with ligament damage in his wrist, which I don't know if you guys know this, but last time I checked, wrists are quite important to a goalkeeper. Like, if it was an outfield player, you could probably just put it in a big glove. I once played football with my hand in a massive glove because I burnt it on some soup. I didn't need my hand. I was not a goalkeeper. If you got a hand injury, that kind of feels like the sort of thing that would stop a goalkeeper playing, especially if it's ligament damage, because having broken my ankle, I will tell you that it took longer for the ligaments to heal than the bone did. But no, he's fine. He's probably, ligament damage, tis but a flesh wound. The quote from Moyes is, he's just got a little bit of ligament damage, and it's just a little bit of ligament damage. So we're not quite sure if he's ready. We thought he would be ready for tonight, so we find out. So it's like he nearly played. The ligament damage. The old ligament damage playing up again, is it, mate? So I don't really know what the story is of Areola. But the thing is that it's a good excuse because West Ham defensively have been rubbish and Areola has been a very disappointing fantasy asset. So, yeah, I think this is an excuse to sell, especially when we just have no idea what information what they're going to come out with next, Going to chop their legs off and then it's going to be like, it'll be fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. Just take a leaf out of the Monty Python book. So that is the all of the injury updates. As I said, if you've got questions about who might start, let me know. Ahmed says about Areola, maybe he'll use one hand. I mean, maybe he could just kind of attach a very, very large hand to his one hand so that he kind of has a massive hand-shaped shield across his whole face. I mean, maybe that's the way to go. I don't know. But if we've got anyone with medical knowledge in the chat, please tell me how someone with wrist ligament damage could somehow be not that far off playing football as a goalkeeper. Please explain that to me. But yes, that is that's the team news as we know it at 10:20. We have got 40 minutes to go until the game week 16 deadline. I still haven't made my transfers yet. I will show you my team shortly. Let's have a look at the season ticker whilst I'm going to stick that on the screen, talk about some of the upcoming fixtures, and then I will jump into the chat and try and answer some of your questions. So, the season ticker from game week 16, top of it right now, this is for overall difficulty, is Chelsea. Although the Everton game is a bit... Sheffield United is the really nice one. So if you're looking for teams that are good fixtures in the next 6, now is the Chelsea time. Now is the Chelsea time, really. Although I've maybe temper your expectations about 16 in isolation, because I think Everton are getting much better. West Ham normally still have good fixtures, so I think if you've got Bowen, he's an easy hold. Bowen could even be a replacement for Mbermo, to be honest, if you've already got Palmer. I think he's got good fixtures. The middle two are a bit naff, United and Arsenal, but he still hasn't failed to score in an away match this season. So, and Arsenal at home seem to always give up big chances, so maybe get something there. And then Brighton and Sheffield United in 2021. I think Bowen's a good shout. Brighton's fixtures, they're on the rise again. Burnley at home is the next one for them. A lot of interest in Wolves this week. Hwang is on people's radar as well. Nottingham Forest at home is a great fixture for them this week. So they're the sort of teams that have good fixtures. The teams whose fixtures are dropping off, well, we see Crystal Palace fall down, see Aston Villa fall down. So sales of Crystal Palace players would certainly make some sense. Although time it right, I wouldn't sell. I'm not going to sell Johnson this week because I'm expecting maybe some save points. Man City's the tricky one because they're all the way down the bottom, but they do have Luton and Sheffield United in 2 of their next 4. The blank game week doesn't help. Really that's going to be team specific for a lot of people. How you handle 18? Are you going to do free hit? Are you going to try and get through there, etc.? So yeah, that's what the season ticker is looking like at the moment. So I'm going to stick the scout picks on the screen. I'm going to leave that there whilst I have a look at some of your questions. Dylan says, you forgot my greetings from Kenya. I'm so sorry, Dylan. Greetings from the UK to those of you watching us in Kenya. Sorry to have missed it. So Rory says, will Cash and Reece James start? Let's go there first. Let's have a look. So go ahead here. You'll see my team very briefly. Oh no, you won't. No, you won't. You'll see the back end of YouTube, which is not what you guys want to see. You don't want to see that at all. Right, I actually need to sort something out then. So here we are. We're going to fix this on the fly. What you guys want to see is this. Don't know how that happened. Right, so team news, predicted lineup. So if you don't know already, if you head to the Fantasy Football Scout website, there are tabs on top. Head to team news, predicted lineups. That is where you want to head. The editorial team are the guys who put this together. They watch every press conference. They watch every match. They analyze every match in detail. They go back over 10, 12 game week periods, look at who plays what formation against what type of opponent, all sorts of really complicated stuff. I used to do it when I was on the editorial team, and believe me, it's a lot of work. And I'm glad I'm not on that team anymore. But Neil, of course, is the king of team news, and of course, he's got Tom and Mark along to help him as well. We are officially the most accurate predictor of teams in the FPL world, which I can say as someone who's not involved in it at all, and as someone who has viewed aggregators comparing our predictions against everybody else's, and we are officially the best. So yeah, we're never going to be completely perfect, but we have the highest success rate percentage across all 20 teams. So it usually means if you're a little bit stuck, I would use this page if you haven't already. So we'll start with Aston Villa. And yeah, we've got no cash, according to Neil and the boys. So Martinez in goal, then Digne, Torres, Carlos, and Konsa as a back four. I was actually having a chat about the Aston Villa back four with a friend the other night, because he's an Aston Villa fan. I'm trying to explain it to another friend who doesn't like wing backs. Long story. And he was in the middle of. We managed to catch him out, because we pointed out that Aston Villa, he was talking about how well Aston Villa were playing their football. This friend who doesn't like wing backs, and me and the Villa fan were like, well, you do know that Villa kind of play an asymmetric wing back system, and he was like, oh, haha, we got you there, mate. And it looks like that's what they're predicting this week. It's Konsa plays a right back. He's traditionally a centre back, but he's more of a defensive fullback. And then this lineup here would allow Digne to act as a wing back, and then or perhaps step into midfield or overlap with McGinn. And then Torres, Carlos, and Konsa can then shunt across to be a back three, because Konsa, of course, can play as a centre back. So him being a right-sided centre back, either side, him and Torres either side of Carlos. Torres is also can play left back, so he's absolutely fine being the left sided centre back. That's what's being predicted here. If you've got Diaby, better news from the team predictions, because there's a prediction that he'll come back in to start up front with Watkins in front of a midfield of McGinn, Louise, Kamara, and Tielemans. So that's Villa. Who else did you ask me about? Was it Rory? Where's your comment gone? I've got to re-find it now. Reece James, that's it. Right, so let's go have a look at Reece James. Let's go to Chelsea. Yeah, it's been annoying that he's not played as often as we'd like, isn't it? He was on my list, but Chelsea's defence has kind of tapered off in recent weeks, and as in their numbers, they've been conceding a lot of chances and a lot of big ones too. But here is the team, according to the editorial guys. So we've got Sanchez in goal, which comes as no surprise. Colwell at left back, Silva and Disasi as the centre backs, and yes, Reece James at right back, with Enzo and Caicedo as the holding midfielders, Sterling, Gallagher, and Palmer as the midfield, or the attacking midfield trio behind Nicholas Jackson. I think Gallagher coming back into the team is actually really big. I know he was only out for one. But yeah, I think he's incredible. I think he's one of the most underrated English players of the last 3 or 4 years. When he was playing at West Brom, he was like comfortably the best player there. I think he was player of the season twice in a row at Crystal Palace. I think he's brilliant. I think he fully deserves to be in the England squad for the Euros as well. I think he'll help Palmer this week. So yeah, Rory, that is those two there. Let's have a look. Rory does say, are Chelsea a little bit all over the place? A little bit, yes, but I do think Gallagher coming back in will help. Any other questions about team news? Bejor88 says, will Doku start? Let's have a look. Go to Man City. Well, we don't know. We probably think we have to predict no, because he came off with this unspecified injury, or sorry, didn't play with this unspecified injury in midweek. We've had no update whatsoever. And so now, we just can't predict him to start. So this is the predicted lineup for Man City: Ederson, Ake, Diaz, Akanji, Rodri, Stones, Alvarez, Silva, Foden, Haaland, and Grealish. So yeah, unfortunately, Bejor can't help you much more than that. Question from FBO Aussie Mike, who says, are you a full-time content creator, or do you have a job on top of all the fantasy work you do? I actually am a full-time content creator. I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky that I work for Fantasy Football Scout full time. So even though you don't see me on every video, I am sort of running behind the scenes, and technically I'm the video editor. So I schedule streams for people and chat with the Scoutcast guys and the Burning Questions guys about when they're going to stream, what they're going to talk about. I sort the thumbnails as well. So if you think the thumbnails look terrible, then that's my fault, because I'm the one who makes them. I do the podcast as well. If you listen to us on podcasts, then yeah, it's my job to take the YouTube videos and turn them into podcasts. But then also, so I get a load of people a lot of the time who see that I am also on quite a lot of videos, because whenever there's a slot that needs recording, obviously I'm here on a full-time ticket, so I'll step up and I'll make those videos. And sometimes people are like, wow, he makes so many videos for Scout, he must owe them a debt. Well, I mean, no. I mean, I guess I do. I owe them a debt in the sense that they're my employers and they pay me every month. So yeah, that's why you see me so often, is because I'm here full time. So which is very fortunate. There are loads of content creators out there who do their content work on top of their full time job, and I find those people to be. I'm just very admiring of those people, because I don't know if I'd have the kind of the headspace to be able to do this job on top of a actual day job. So they're the real heroes, to be honest. I'm just doing my weekly grind is doing this, and obviously what's quite nice is on a Saturday morning get to sit down with you guys, and that gets me some time back in the week as well, which is good. So Aussie Mike says, good on you, appreciate it. No worries. People are always interested about how the inner workings of Scout work, so I'm always happy to reveal a few bits and bobs of how we operate. We've had a few more questions coming in. Christian Eriksson says, well, I'm assuming not the real one, says, Sarr or Bentley playing for Wolves? Good question. We did actually have an update on Wolves, and I don't think I popped it on the screen. I do have it in my list of quotes that I've got just in my notes, though, so I can read it out to you. Jose Sarr is 100% fit, according to Gary O'Neill, and looks set to return in goal. Aït-Nouri probably likely won't be available, is the quote from Gary O'Neill, but has trained a little today. Johnny, Hodge, and Neto remain out. I won't go into detail on the Johnny thing, but go and have a read of the update they put on their website. It's very interesting. But let's have a look at the predicted lineup. According to so the predicted lineup is Sarr coming back in goal. Kilman, Dawson, and Totti as a back three. Bueno and Semedo as wing backs. Lamina, Gomez, and Sarabia behind Cunha and Hwang. So then, we think that Sarr's probably going to come back in. Rory's loving the the one-stop shop on all things team news, because he's got another question. Pedro playing for Brighton. Let's go have a look. And I should just clarify, if you're only just joining us and you're seeing me scrolling through these are predicted lineups. We can very proudly say that we are officially the most accurate team news predictors in the FPL world. But you can never second guess an FPL manager. So if this ends up being wrong, we sort of technically claim no responsibility. But if we get it right, then we're like, hey, we told you. So we're very hypocritical like that. But we know that this page is very, very useful for people. If you're only just joining us, you've never seen this before, head to Fantasy Football Scout's website, hover over Team News, and select predicted lineups, and you'll get this page. So we currently have Pedro not starting this because he's doing so well in Europe, and they've got Europe coming up again next week, and they really will want to win that game to avoid having to play a Champions League, a relegated Champions League team in the next round of the Europa League. And Pedro, I think, he's the top scorer in Europe. So he makes a lot of sense just to kind of, keep deploying him in that role. And they do, of course, have alternatives. We mentioned earlier Lallana in and around things again. So the predicted Brighton lineup is Verbruggen, Milner, Dunk, Van Heck, and Veltman. then Dahoud and Gross in the middle, Matoma, Lallana, Buonanotte, and then Ferguson up front. Now, there are a few people still with the Dingra. If I still had a Dingra, I'd probably hold him, because as much as we predicted him not to start, that's based on the fact that he has just started so many. That's probably why he predicted not to start, but I wouldn't be shocked if he then ended up playing. So, Christian Eriksen says, I am the real Christian Eriksen, just not the football playing one. That's a good point. It could have actually just been your real name. I never thought of that. Delighted to meet you, Christian. We have Samrat wants to know about Zinchenko. So let's go have a look at Zinchenko. We got Zinchenko down to start this one. Raya Martin in goal. Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, White as back four. Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard as the midfield. And then Martinelli, Jesus and Saka there. So we think Zinchenko's going to play. Then Danish has actually asked a great question here, which is about Luis Diaz. We have got Luis Diaz not predicted to start in our Liverpool lineup. So we've got Alisson, Shimikas, Van Dijk, Gomez, Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai, Endo, Gravenberch, Salah, Hakpo, and Nunez to start for Liverpool. That's what our prediction is, so no Diaz. And the question he's asking is, should I take a -4 based on the fact that he's not going to start and he's not in your predicted lineups? Well, it's a really good game for them. It's a tricky one. I think I would say when it comes to you suspect someone might not start, you have to take things on a case-by-case basis. If it's... especially if it's a -4 as well. If it's for a defender, then I think it's kind of a lot harder to justify that. You would need to be maybe signing like a Trent at his peak, which, to be fair, I think he's coming back into fashion again. I've just spotted. Rahul says, is Alisson starting? We've got the Liverpool predicted lineup on the screen right now. We've got him predicted to start. And Ruth asking, is Darwin Nunez in the starting 11? Well, we're not 100% sure as ever. These are only predictions, but we are also predicting Nunez to start as well. So hopefully that helps you, Ruth. But yes, just back to Danish's question. If you've got if they've got an injury, then a -4 is maybe worth it. But when we think they might not start, it becomes a lot harder. Luis Diaz, I think Diaz could still play. I think if Diaz does play, I think he gets something, because Palace's defence has been quite poor recently, and they've just lost Tyreek Mitchell as well. So if I was you, I don't think I would do it. I mean, I suppose, Danish, all I can do is look at what your question is. You haven't really necessarily suggested an alternative, which perhaps suggests you haven't got someone you really, really want as an alternative. If you were like desperately short of someone really, really essential, then maybe. But yeah, if it's more just the fact that you're nervous about he might not start, I don't know if a -4 is necessarily worth it, because I think that for this case, I feel like there's still an option that he could maybe be involved and maybe get something. He may come off the bench and spend 25 minutes and get a goal and assist. Like, that's still possible as well. So whilst predicted lineups can help you understand who's going to start, I wouldn't necessarily let your transfers always be decided by who's starting. It's a Saturday morning, right? We always spend this time looking for, team news of a certain type, and then, but it's not gospel. It shouldn't dictate how you play, because for all you know, they start next week, your player who's benched, and they come on and they score this week. So if you sold them, you've just kind of wasted it. So I wouldn't necessarily take it on a 1 week kind of view like that. Danish was thinking of a -4 for Gordon. I mean, it's worse people to bring in on a -4, but I do think that Newcastle, I think they're away this week, aren't they? Where they're not as good away from home. I would be looking at 17 is when I'm going to invest in the Newcastle attack. So, I'm happy to give it 1 more week, to be honest. That is... hopefully that's illustrated to people just how useful the Team News predicted lineups page can be. We will revisit that if we get any other questions about that. For now, I'm going to take you to my team, because as ever, I basically need your help. You guys know how it is. Let's take you to my team. My team is a mess. As you'll see, my rank is now 303k, and the last time I did one of these, I think I was 38k. So, wow, things really have dropped off in the last 3 game weeks. I got 2 free transfers. I ended up rolling midweek. My family emergency actually just put me in a scenario of, I ended up back available to look at my phone at about 5:55 p.m. with 1% on my battery on my phone. So that's 5 minutes to make a decision, and it might not even go through if my phone dies because I was very far away from my charger. So yes, I ended up rolling and didn't do very well in the last game week. But I do actually think 2 free transfers is really going to help me here. Now, one transfer that I know I'm definitely going to make is in Burmo to Palmer. That is a really obvious one. And if I'm honest, I might even just do it now to make sure I've got it out of the way. Because that's just that's a simple one. The other issues I've got is I need to sort my defence because I don't want to start Anderson against Liverpool. I don't really necessarily want to be relying on Cash either because just things haven't been going well for him at Villa lately. We've seen in the predicted lineups that he's probably not going to play. Now I don't want to sell Cash because if I'm going to sell people, it'd be Van de Ven and Estupiñán. But I think I'd quite like to bench Cash this week. So I've got to sort that. But the problem is right now is that there's so few defenders that I really like. That's the issue. So I am looking at... I've been looking at Trippier. I've been looking at Senesi. They're the 2 I've been looking at. But they're both on 4 yellow cards. Neither one of them has a great fixture this week. They've just got better fixtures next week. But I want to roll next week. So I don't mind doing 3 transfers for a -4 just to get the work done now. So I can roll next week and then take 2 free transfers into 18 because I'm dead-ending towards that. And then hopefully wildcarding on Boxing Day for game week 19. So that's what I want to do. But I hate all the defenders right now. I really just hate all the defenders. There's no one that I want to sign. And to be honest, that's the main reason why I've sat here with these 2 defenders just kind of like rotting away my FPL team because who else is there? There's no one else to go for. So a lot of people have suggested Spurs defenders, but not right now, guys. Like, come on, like their attacking returns have just been... Sorry, their defensive capabilities have just been shot to pieces by the injuries they've had. Van de Ven is such a huge loss for them, and it's a huge loss for me as well. Huge loss for them. It makes them a lot more susceptible when they play their high line because his pace at centre-back is no longer there. Not having Maddison doesn't help either because, you know what I mentioned earlier on, when you lose your key attacking player, sometimes that just adds more pressure to your defence because they're having to go through more work. So the more work your defence have to do, the more likely to see goals, etc., etc. So really don't want a Spurs defender. I'll go back to the season ticker. This is the other problem, is that Chelsea have great fixtures, but their defensive numbers have plummeted. West Ham have great fixtures, but their defensive numbers have never been anything other than terrible. Burnley also have good fixtures, same, terrible defence. Brighton have good fixtures at the back, but they don't keep clean sheets. Wolves have some offerings, to be honest. I'm sort of maybe thinking I might actually do Senesi and Dawson, and then get Trippier maybe in 18, to be honest. Because, Spurs away, Trippier on 4 yellow cards, it just feels like asking for trouble. Wolves have a decent fixture this week, but what I actually needed to check was how good their defence have been recently. So you have to bear with me until, I'll just show you guys, because we don't show you glimmers of the members area enough. So this is the website. Obviously, let's head to the members area. I've got a few open tabs elsewhere. We'll have a look at some defensive numbers. We'll have a look at some expected numbers. I just want to see if the Wolves' defence is worth looking at, because I will just actually return you to the scout picks. Dawson is in the scout picks, and Wolves have kept some clean sheets. And Nottingham Forest in the last 6 matches are in the bottom 3 for XG produced. So they have lost the ability to score in many ways. So let's head back to the website. It says season ticker. Let's have a look at some expected numbers for defenders, as for goalkeepers. Sorry, I have so many tabs open all the time. Here we go. Last 6 matches, XGC. Let's have a look. As you can see, Luton not doing very well. They're bottom. This is what I mean about Chelsea, by the way. Last 6 matches, only Luton have conceded, have a worse XGC than Chelsea. Spurs also there as well, so that's why I'm not interested in a Spurs defender. But unfortunately, Wolves, look at that. Wolves, not in a great place. Now, conversely, look, Bournemouth all the way down here, last 6. But even Burnley's defence has improved as well. Maybe I should get Charlie Taylor. But yeah, no, I don't want to get. I think Brighton score against them this week. Arsenal XGC is always very low, but unfortunately they just make a lot of mistakes. They have just a ridiculous number of mistakes made a lot of the time. Oh dear! This is the problem. We'll just go back to the season ticket. It's like all the teams that have good fixtures have been defending relatively poorly, and teams that have been defending relatively well don't necessarily. Like I don't want to start. Like I sign an Arsenal defender this week, Villa away, then Brighton at home, Liverpool away. No, thank you. It's just annoying. If you've got questions in the chat, sorry, my eye hasn't been on the chat. It's just like. Who do I sign in defence? If you've got questions about defenders, I got no idea. I mean, here's a question I can answer. The Cotton Eye Joe said, "Hi, what's your favourite flower?" I actually do have a favourite flower. My favourite flower is the amaryllis. Anyone heard of an amaryllis? It's a sort of winter flower that is well known for growing even when things are tough. Right? Is anyone in the chat know Shinedown? The band Shinedown. They're sort of a alternative metal band, big fan of theirs. They have a song called Amaryllis. In fact, I think they have I think the album is called Amaryllis, and it's all about how the flower blooms even when things, even in hostile environments and when it's cold. It's a good metaphor for life in general, and probably also a good metaphor for FPL teams as well, because it's a little bit like, that expression of like, the most beautiful diamonds are forged under the hardest pressure. The amaryllis flower embodies that quite in the same way. So Cotton Eye Joe, that is my favourite flower. That is a question I do actually know the answer to. When it comes to who to sign in defence in FPL this week, the answer is NA. Got no idea, because they just all suck. But I need to sign someone. That's the problem. So Rory says, if you're dead ending, then Villa defence. I mean, maybe, but the problem is I have cash, and I do want to get to Watkins eventually, and I don't have it because I've still got Diaby. Let's just get my team back up on the screen. Let's have a look. Could I do that? I suppose I could do. That's not my team. Somebody else's team. I could do Dini this week, but I just think Arsenal score. I just think it's just not a good game week to sign anyone in defence. I just don't. Wolves maybe. I mean, like Dawson, I like the look of for this week, but kind of for this week only, and it's going to involve a hit. David Ross 72 says Colwell, but I mean, again, like Chelsea's numbers defensively of late have been awful, and I just don't think. I just think Everton score this week. So the thing is, whoever I sign in defence, I'm going to have to take a hit to sort it. Whoever I sign in defence, the problem is that they have a rubbish fixture this week, really. Chelsea in 18. I mean, Chelsea got Sheffield United in 17, but, they could have a new manager bounce or the old new manager bounce. Then Wolves in 18. So, there is some value in signing a Chelsea defender. I mean, yeah, maybe a Newcastle defender as well, but I'm nervous to sign a Newcastle defender this week because I think I think I have to get Trippier. I think I have to be aiming to get Trippier. I have to be giving myself the room to get Trippier in 18. And by signing, so Ahmed's suggesting share. By signing that, I kind of feel like I end up in a situation where I'm going to not be able to get to Trippier. And maybe Trippier gets suspended this week, and then next week I sign share. I don't know. That's the issue. If I'm honest, I think if I don't sign Trippier, I kind of need him to get the yellow this game, miss the Fulham one, and then I can roll next week and then bring him in as part of another mini wildcard in 18. Like, that's my thinking. But, I mean, to be honest, right, David, sort yourself out. One of the things I do need to do, let's get you guys back onto my team again. One of the things I do need to do is I do need to get on with it, that's for sure. So one of the transfers I know I definitely need to make is Mbeumo to Palmer. That's just an easy one. So I'm going to do that first, because whatever I do in defence doesn't change what I do here, because I'm not relying on Archer again. I mean, just look at that. Look at that absolute dross of returns. I won't sell him, but I'm not starting him this week. I've started him far too often recently. So who do we need? We need Cole Palmer. It's about time. In the words of Lizzo, it is about damn time that I had Palmer. So that's Mbeumo to Palmer. As ever, guys, maximum value for your viewership here. Live transfers. Mbeumo out. Palmer in. So that was an easy one. Like, I know I need to do that one. Who you could just confirm the transfer, please, FPL site. Thank you. Right, so I've currently got Haaland as my captain. I've just looked at those. We've looked at some of those defensive numbers, and whilst Palace have very much dropped off a cliff in terms of their defensive capabilities, I do just Luton's is way worse. And I think with Rodri back, Man City, when they've lost the game or they've had a run where they haven't played that well, basically, immediately after that, they just become a juggernaut. That just always happens. They know how to do that. They know how to transition from a negative result into beating someone 7-0. So, I think Haaland, for me, is an easy captain this week, if I'm honest. Ahmed says, I'm starting Archer this week. Well, good luck to you, because I've been doing... I've been doing it last couple of weeks and it hasn't been working out. Maybe this will be the week it comes off when I finally have more players again and he probably gets locked on my bench. So, FPLology Mike says Player of the Month Maguire. That's a good shout. The only problem is I'll just head back to the defensive numbers again. Man United just are riding their luck, really. You'll see that they should have conceded 11.89 goals in the last 6 matches. They've only conceded 5. I mean, that I think is going to come to an end at some point. Bournemouth, I think, they're resurgent. You'll notice that they are now in the top 7 for XG produced in the last 6 matches. I don't like the idea of having a United defender. What's the rest of their fixtures look like? This is the easiest fixture of the next run, and I think they still concede. Sorry to... I don't mean to rubbish your ideas, FPL Mike. It's just... every defender has a caveat somehow. So it's just not a fun time to be picking defenders. I hate it. Right. I need to get myself sorted here. What am I going to do? We all the defenders that have been suggested, they're all relatively decent, but none of them really sort of leaps out at me, unfortunately. We got a super chat from Austin who says, "Hi David, again, just a greeting. Well done." That's very kind of you, Austin. If you do have a question, then as ever, please ask it in a normal chat, and of course I will answer it for you as you've mentioned there. FPL Mike says, "I'm a Liverpool fan, so that's why you want me to sign a United player." Ready for them to embarrass themselves. I see how it is. I'm gonna answer a few more of your questions for the next few minutes, and then I'll sort my team out. So Gregor says, sell Martinelli and buy Son and go into a -4. I mean, I wouldn't buy Son right now because as much as I wouldn't sell him based on the quotes, I also wouldn't buy him either because there could be something we just don't know. Martinelli, I do have an update on Martinelli, so if you weren't watching earlier, I'll just revisit it for you because off the top of my head I can't actually remember it, so I'm going to have to put it back on screen. Arsenal, when Arteta was asked about Martinelli, Arteta said, I think everybody is going to be okay. I think if Martinelli still has a flag, it's probably because Arteta said, I think. Sometimes you have to think... you have to think very finickily with the injury update sometimes. Martinelli is not flagged. Okay. Basically, Martinelli is probably okay because he wasn't name checked, and Arteta said everybody's fine. So you would expect that everybody also means Martinelli. It's just a case of sometimes I think might trigger a flag because you think of it like this: you don't say I think 2 + 2 will equal 4. You just know it will. So by saying think, you are kind of expressing some level of doubt. I can understand why you're nervous, but I would hold Martinelli. I wouldn't buy Son right now. Eunice says, with no Haaland, is Alvarez worth captaining or stick to Salah? No, I would go with Salah in that regard. As much as the Luton fixture is nicer and Haaland's form hasn't been amazing last couple of games, you've got Alvarez has been underperforming as an FPL asset for some time. I would trust Salah more than Alvarez. The Crystal Palace fixture isn't bad. It is a good fixture. The defence has trended downwards quite a lot recently, and they've lost Mitchell as well, so it should in theory be worse today or this weekend. So yes, Salah. I think you go with Salah as your captain over Alvarez for sure. Linus says, and Burmo to Matoma. Yeah, I like that. I would do that. To be honest. Uproar. Morning, David. Turner and Areola owner. Mitchell first on my bench for Son. Should I take 2 hits to take out Turner and Mitchell for Sanchez and Porro? So that's a super chat. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate all the support. Turner and Areola and Mitchell first on my bench for Son. Oh, yeah, okay. 2 hits, and that's a -8. That's hard. Sanchez and Porro. I mean, Sanchez, yes. I think Sanchez is a yes, because I think you need a set and forget goalkeeper for the next few weeks, and he's not a bad one. But Porro, I'm not so sure. Those defensive numbers that I've looked at, I wouldn't want to take a hit for a Spurs defender this week, especially against Newcastle. I mean, I know Spurs are at home, and Porro is very attacking, but yeah, that to me is too risky. If I'm honest, I wouldn't expect that to be returning on a hit straight away. Forest next week, that is a good one, but Everton in 18, that's not a good fixture. Everton is not a good fixture anymore. Someone asked me how am I planning to get Son for 18. Well, I don't know if I will. A lot of people think he's the best captain for that week, but I actually think I disagree. I think Watkins is the best captain for that week because at Villa at home to Sheffield United. I think Newcastle where Luton is also another fantastic option for a captaincy. I don't think Son is essential for 18 because Spurs have been playing in such a way that I don't trust them, and Everton arguably are in better form. So, yes. Okay, so uproar. I would take the hit for Sanchez, but I think I'd maybe be hoping maybe the rest of your team could perhaps cover you for Mitchell. So yeah, Uproar says I'm worried Son doesn't play. Oh, we see, right? Need someone to replace Mitchell, or I would just if I was you, mate, I would just hope that Son plays because I think he will. Football players are often pushed to their limits to start games, and we know Son did that last season. And we wouldn't be surprised to see him have to do that again. Spurs really need him right now, so if it was any other player, then maybe he wouldn't risk it. But I think Postecoglou just has to do everything he can to get Son on the pitch. If that involves perhaps some help with that in the form of injections or whatever, I think he'll do it. So, actually, do you know what I've not done? I haven't taken you to the predicted lineup for Spurs. Let's have a look. This could change everything. What is the predicted lineup for Spurs according to the Fantasy Football Scout? Team news predictions all the way to the bottom. So yeah, we've got Son to start. They kind of very much feel the same way that we think he's going to play. So if I was you, I don't think it's worth taking another -4 to cover a substitute for somebody who might play. So yeah, that's the way I would see it. Oh, FPL Aussie Mike, very kind of you. You've submitted a super chat as well, just supporting the channel. Thanks, mate, for the great content. Good luck this game. You're so sweet. Thank you very much. As we always say, we always love any support you guys have to give us. If you want to do a super chat, you've got 6 minutes left to get one in. I'm going to be trying to sort my team in that time as well, so a little disclaimer. So it might be a little bit rushed. But if you're looking for ways to support the channel and you want to do it in a way that is completely free, because I appreciate that super chats obviously do cost money, then you can always like the video. Go do it now. Go do it now. Sort your team, then like the video. Or maybe sort your team and then wait till the deadline to pass, then like the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification as well. If you're watching us on Twitter, then head to YouTube to do that. It really helps support us. Even though that costs you nothing, boosting up those numbers just helps us reach more people. So, thank you very much. And yeah, as I said, thank you very much to FPL Aussie Mike. Cotton Eye Joe says, I've just listened to Amaryllis for the first time. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I would advise everybody else, when this is done, go and listen to Amaryllis by Shinedown. It's a fantastic song. Cotton Eye Joe, 12 hit points last night for tea. Drunk FPL transfers, regrets today. Oh, I feel your pain. I mean, I can't remember the last time I drank and transferred. It's been a while. I would always advise people not to drink and transfer, basically. I'm hoping you hit to come off, Cotton Eye Joe. If not, you might need to listen to Amaryllis again to remind you of what it's like to come through adversity in difficult challenges and still maintain some natural beauty. So yeah. Right, I got to sort my team, guys. I got to get this team sorted. It's still a complete mess. I don't know who to sign. Look, I've been talking up Senesi all week. If he gets booked against United, at least I've still got him for 18. Let's go. Some movement says Amaryllis is a bit old lady's flower. Lol. Well, I used to think so. And then Shinedown wrote a song about it and named their album after it. So yeah, it's cool again, that flower. Right, Van der Ven has to go. He just has to go. Russell Baker, £2 super chat. Thank you very much. Very kind. Pedro Odingra or sell to Gordon -4. I guess if I had Odingra, I'd hold him for this week. Pedro, I'm guessing, do you have them both, is my question. And is it a case of starting one of them? I think I would start Odingra. I think the fixture's good for Brighton, and I think Odingra will have some involvement. -4 for Gordon. If it was next week, maybe, but I think the Spurs game, I just don't know what to expect there. Spurs aren't doing well, but Newcastle are away from home. So, yeah. Right, so Wolves. I need to have a look at Dawson. Dawson is who I'm thinking about because he's got a good fixture this week. I've got to maximise what people can achieve for me this week. Home clean sheet against Burnley. How many clean sheets do they actually have this season? Because their defensive numbers haven't been amazing. 2. 2 clean sheets. Oh no. 3 minutes to get this sorted. Are Forest particularly bad at conceding chances from set plays? I'd love to know that. Let's have a look. Last 6 set plays. Forest. Yeah. And Senesi. Maybe there against United. So let's have a look. No, wrong table. See, I'm all over the place now. I'm trying to find things at short notice. Man United, Forest down there, not doing very well. United are there, so they probably will score. Right. How often would I start Dawson in the next few weeks? West Ham, Chelsea, Brentford. Not very often. Whereas Senesi, I probably would because he's got some good fixtures coming up. Senesi. See, look, these fixtures of Bournemouth really nice, to be honest. Even he might miss one of them. Right, Senesi, you're in. Let's do it. Make transfers. Confirm transfers. And United actually have been really bad at conceding chances from set plays. So in he comes. Nice little differential for me. 2 minutes to go. Uproar's quite handily counting down for me. I actually appreciate that quite a lot. So then the -4 then, to avoid having to start Anderson, would be Estupinan to... Do I do Dawson or do I do... Because I think I can actually do Trippier now, to be honest. I think. Unless I've lost the value to do it. I can do it. Oh, screw it. Let's just do it. I need Trippier. Okay. David, stay calm, channel the general. Well, I've been talking about Trippier all week, and he's got good fixtures next week. I may end up missing. These guys could get booked, and I end up having some issues to solve. But would I start Anderson next week if one of them gets booked? No. Man City. Cash, no. Oh, well, it's too late now. I've done it now. But I just needed to fix it. I needed to make sure that I actually had a number of people playing. I've got to order my bench. Cash. Let's go put cash. Let's put cash there. No. Let's put cash. Let's put cash there. Save team. Haaland captain. Right. I think I got there in the end. Oh, guys. Anyone ever seen Back to the Future? I'm actually wearing my Back to the Future hoodie here. In the words of Marty, why do we have to cut these things so damn close? I probably could have made these transfers yesterday, but I much prefer giving you guys a little bit of value. So we've got less than a minute to go. We're nearly there. My team, I think, is locked in. Deadline has passed. There we go. That's it. We have got ourselves through another deadline. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. FPL Marshall, do you feel I stayed calm there? Do you think the general would be proud of what I just did? Probably not. It's the moves I was talking about a couple of days ago. If anyone watched my team reveal video, that was the moves. They were the moves I was thinking. Whilst I don't think that... It's not an amazing fixture for Newcastle this week. I just think that Trippier stands above the other Newcastle defenders in what he can bring in terms of attacking returns. If he ends up missing next week, he'll play in 18. If he doesn't get booked this week, he'll play next week, and I think that's a good fixture. So, yeah, I've got to do something. I've got to do something to arrest the slide. I need to get myself with 15 players again, and it's an annoying situation I've left myself in, but I can't have a team with that... I can't have a team that has lots of inactive players again. Now, I may have ended up with more inactive players by signing people on 4 yellow cards, but we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, Uproar's taking his first hit of the season. Wish me luck. Yeah, good luck, good luck. FPL Marshall says, not bad, so. I think I was panicking on the inside without necessarily looking like I was panicking, but the moves smack of panic. So we'll see. My luck's got to change at some point. David Ross says, great show, riding the FPL Saturday morning roller coaster. It really is a roller coaster, isn't it? Saturday mornings are always quite chaotic when there is an FPL deadline. Well, in a few minutes, in 29 minutes, we will have our first round of team news of the day. Yeah, I'm gonna head off in a second and leave you guys to it. But before we go, I'll always have a little bit of housekeeping, as you guys know. So let's rattle through that. Now, you will have seen me use a lot of tables and tools in this video. If you found any of that useful, then yeah, and you don't have a Scout membership, then now's the time to sign up. Anyone who's had the 7-day free trial in the last week has been able to basically do this for 3 deadlines and get 3 game weeks worth of information, which is always very useful. We still have a 7-day free trial for now. I don't know when that's going to end. It might end soon. So do go and sign up to a 7-day free trial now so you can check it out. If you like it, you can save up to 20% on the different packages we have. We have all sort of different tiers that will suit your needs. And as you know, all sorts of good stuff within the members area as well. Also, this video is sponsored by Betway. They are the principal partners of West Ham and the betting partner of Brighton. On Friday, they announced the heroes of the weekend. Bet £10 on player markets top scorer of the heroes, and they will credit a £1 free bet for every point up to £20. They also run giveaways, which include shirts and tickets for West Ham and Brighton. We know not everyone gambles, which is something we take seriously. It's why on our website we have a filter you can turn on, which allows you to opt out of those ads. For those who do enjoy it, do it responsibly and safely. There's more info about Betway in the description. You have to be 18 and over to play, and we encourage everybody to gamble responsibly and to be gambleaware.org. When the fun stops, stop. But with that, that's basically everything I have for you guys, other than just a quick reminder that if you've enjoyed this video, do hit the like button. And if you've watched this on Twitter as well, then jump over to YouTube and subscribe to us there so that you can get access to this on a more regular basis, and hit the bell notification as well so you don't miss a thing. FPL Master says, if Trips gets booked, what are you doing next week? I'm going to panic. That's what I'm going to do. I don't particularly like the look of my bench still, but I will just get through. I will get through it. If he gets booked this week, then actually that's not the end of the world, because him missing 17 but being able to play 18 is not too bad. So I'm willing to sort of take that risk. I know it's silly, but I just need to get Trippier. He's causing me huge problems every week. I'm very exposed to the Newcastle defence. So yeah, I just felt like I had to do it. If you want to know a little bit more behind my thought process, I know I didn't mention him much on this video, but talked a little bit about him on the on my team reveal video a few days ago. So yeah, fingers crossed. I've stopped drinking the jam tea, so for all we know, I'm going to get bad luck again. So yeah, we'll have to see. We will have to see. But as I said, with that, I'll leave you fine folks to enjoy the rest of your FPL Saturday, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.